The situation in Zamfara right now is something that has captured the attention of the entire country. And as you stay with me on this gist, please make sure you like this video and subscribe, because we are going deep into what is happening and why it matters to every single Nigerian listening. Federal troops in Zamfara have carried out one of the biggest, most coordinated security operations in recent months, targeting a dangerous gang that has been troubling several communities. For a long time, these criminals have been moving from village to village, hiding inside forests, mountains, and remote settlements where they planned and carried out attacks. But in this recent operation, something changed. The Nigerian military went in with strong intelligence, strong coordination, and strong determination. And that is how they were able to dismantle one of the most feared groups operating in that region. Now, let me break it down in simple English so everyone watching can understand clearly. And please, as we go on, just tap the like button and subscribe so that more people can hear this important story. The troops moved into Zamfara with a clear mission: find the gang's hideouts, rescue innocent people, and recover any weapons and machines the criminals were using. They focused on locations that were known for hosting camps. These are places deep inside forests and hilly areas, places that are difficult to reach. But the soldiers went in with confidence. And when the soldiers entered these places, what they found was unbelievable. Stronghold camps, motorcycles that the criminals used to move quickly, weapons, ammunition, and communication devices. These things showed that the group had been running a very organized operation for a long time. But this time, they didn't stand a chance. During the operation, several members of the gang were stopped. Some were arrested, while some escaped into the bush. But the biggest victory was that the federal troops were able to break the structure of the group. They captured the place that was serving as the gang's main meeting ground. And because of these, the gang's ability to regroup has been seriously damaged. This is a major win, not only for Zamfara State, but for Nigeria as a whole. As you're listening, please remember to like this video and subscribe, because we need more people to understand how these incidents affect national peace and security. But the story does not end there. The soldiers also succeeded in rescuing several people who had been held against their will. Imagine the relief that families must have felt when they saw their loved ones returning home safely after days, weeks, or even months of fear and waiting. This is the emotional part of the gist that many people don't always get to hear. The human side, the families waiting, the communities praying, and the soldiers risking their lives to bring people home. And speaking of risks, we must also acknowledge that this operation was not easy. In fact, the military faced serious challenges. The terrain in Zamfara is not simple. Thick forests, tall grasses, and hills that make it hard to see or track movements. The gang members also know the environment very well. They know the small paths, the narrow hiding corners, the routes that only locals are familiar with. That is why such operations require high-level planning and strong intelligence support. Without accurate information, the soldiers could walk into a trap. That is another important thing to appreciate. When we talk about federal troops breaking a killer gang, some people think it is just a normal operation. But no, this is a deep, risky, and dangerous assignment. The soldiers are entering areas where anything can happen, so every success they achieve deserves recognition. And before I continue, please just take 1 second to like this video and subscribe. It helps the channel to reach more people and allows us to keep giving you real-time gist in the simplest and clearest English possible. Now let's continue. One of the major reasons why this operation is making headlines is that the gang was not just any small group. They were heavily armed. When the troops moved in, they recovered rifles, loaded magazines, rounds of ammunition, and communication tools. These items show that the gang had been preparing for long-term activities. Removing these weapons from their hands is a major victory. Another important part of the gist is how the local communities reacted. Many communities in Zamfara have been living in fears for a long time. People were afraid to go to their farms, afraid to travel, afraid to move around freely. So when news began to spread that the military had successfully brought down one of the major groups, the relief was huge. Parents came out, youths came out, women came out. Everybody wanted to thank the soldiers. This shows that the people are tired of insecurity and ready for true peace. However, this also brings us to an important question. Will this operation bring long-term peace, or is it only a temporary victory? Because we know that in many places, when one criminal group is removed, another one can try to rise again. But in this case, the military is trying to make sure that the camp is not just destroyed, but also made unusable. And when the main leaders of a group are removed, it becomes difficult for that group to reorganize. Now, this is where the government also needs to come in. Security operations alone cannot solve every problem. Once the military clears an area, the government needs to follow up by helping communities rebuild, creating jobs for young people, and supporting local security networks. If young people have opportunities, they are less likely to join any dangerous group, and if communities feel protected, they will report suspicious movements early. Please remember to like this video and subscribe while you're following the gist. Your support motivates us to keep giving you clean, simple, and professional news breakdowns like this one. And another point we need to discuss is the emotional and psychological impact on the people of Zamfara. Living in a place where you constantly hear gunshots or fear attacks can affect people mentally. So when troops succeed in weakening a major gang, hope begins to return. Some people who moved out of their villages because of fear may begin to think about returning home. Farmers may start preparing to go back to their lands. Traders may begin to travel again. These small signs of normal life coming back are very important. And as the gist continues, there is also the matter of the soldiers themselves. Many Nigerians sometimes forget that soldiers are human beings too. They have families, children, and homes. Yet they go into dangerous zones to protect the rest of us. Some of them get injured. Some pay the ultimate price. So every time the nation sees them record a major success, it is something we should appreciate.